Well, I think we're up and running. I do believe we are. Alrighty, so I'm here to answer your questions, if anyone is out there. Or not. This will need to refresh the page. Yes.
Quick question. Because I was asking about the break times, and the first break in the 8 o'clock and the 8:37, or whatever, that's fine, or did you want to just take it off the top of your, just go ahead at 8 o'clock and make it?
Yeah.
And do it with 1 minute?
Yeah, no more than that.
Okay, I'll let you know if it's doing that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good. I see we're back up and running. Clay started the blog early this morning, around 10:30 or so. And the actual video part of the blog is a Google Hangout, but you can only do those for a maximum of 8 hours. So between 6:30 and 7, the video part of the blog timed out. So I had to go in and create a new one. And so I think we're getting going here with a couple people on now. Again, if you have questions, that is what I'm here for, to answer those questions. So please ask away. Actually, I'm going to post a link here just to let people know that we're back up and running again with the blog. Had a question here about will the Shreveport Courthouse be open tomorrow? I don't know right offhand. I'm thinking I saw that it was not, but no, not entirely sure of that. Just keep in mind closings, you can find those on our website here at KSLA.com. You'll find the link for school and other sort of closings. But I do believe both, I saw the Caddo and the Bossier Parish courthouses were going to be closed tomorrow due to the weather. Hopefully we'll get some new people joining. I'm worried that some people that were watching the blog a little bit earlier, and they're going to have to refresh their page in order to get back on, since I had to make a new video part of the Hangout here for the blog. You know, basically what we're dealing with, we're still continuing to see some sleet, primarily a little snow mixed in, tracking through the area. But it is starting to taper off a little bit. Certainly it's not as steady as it was earlier, but it still may have a couple hours of this moving on through. I don't expect any sort of significant additional accumulations as we take you through the rest of this evening and tonight. But what we are going to see is the problem on the roadways, because what is out there, the slush on the roads, the water on the roads, it is going to freeze up into solid ice, and that's going to make for really difficult travel conditions as we take you through the overnight hours and on through tomorrow morning. Probably going to be a rough commute to start things off heading into tomorrow morning. Hangout here for the blog. You know, basically what we're dealing with, we're still continuing to see some sleet, primarily a little snow mixed in, tracking through the area. All right, just checking out and make sure the video is working all right. I think we're good to go. I shared the fact that we're still on our KSLA Stormtracker 12 Facebook page. Hopefully you're a fan of that and you've liked it and you follow us there. We're also on Twitter at KSLA Weather, and you can get weather updates there. Not just when we're talking about active weather, but even on the quiet days, posting updates there as well. Again, my biggest concern is going to be the refreeze overnight tonight and the icy roadways that are going to be sticking around through tomorrow morning, particularly those lesser traveled roads. Now, so far, what we're hearing about the interstate, I-20, is that it's in fairly good shape. That traffic is moving along. Road crews are trying to keep it clear. So that's positive, because that's what I have to get on if I want to go home tonight, as opposed to staying here at the station. So hopefully that'll continue to be the case. And again, the main reason I'm here is to answer your questions. So if you have a question, type it into underneath here with the video where it says type in your questions, and I'll try to answer that as best I can. The other thing we're monitoring is another storm system, which looks like it's going to come in on Wednesday. Some uncertainty with that one. We use basically models of the atmosphere, which basically break down the atmosphere into mathematical equations. And that's really what we use to base our forecast on. And there are multiple ones of these that we use for different time frames. And one of the forecast guidance models is suggesting some snow possibilities coming up for Wednesday, but others not so much. So a little uncertainty there. And I think it's largely going to depend on the strength of the system coming on through and the track that it comes through with. Right now, what I'm kind of anticipating is if the precip starts early enough Wednesday, is that we may have some snow or rain snow mixture to start the day Wednesday. Temperatures likely at or a little bit above freezing to start the day Wednesday. So we may not have the problems on the roads, even though we may have some snow coming on down. And if we do get any snow accumulation, it would be on the grassy surfaces, probably would not be a whole lot. And then as we head into Wednesday afternoon and temperatures do manage to slowly climb into the low 40s, and we're just going to transition over to cold rainfall with this system. So again, we are watching that for Wednesday. I'm less concerned about problems out of that system than I had been about concerns about today's weather maker, which again likely is going to lead to even more difficult travel than what's out there right now as we head through the rest of tonight. Well, while we're waiting for some more people and some questions, I'm going to grab a little bit of a bite to eat. If you're watching our 6 o'clock newscast, Doug mentioned that we had Subway catered in for the staff this evening that are here working on the winter weather. So I'm going to eat a little bit while we wait for some more people to show up. But again, if you have questions, feel free to type those in, and I'll get them answered for you. All right, sorry about that. I'm back. Wanted to go get some water. All right, so we have a question. What are the chances of a refreeze tomorrow night? The chances are lower than what we're going to have tonight. And it does look like tomorrow night, and again, this is going to be dependent on the storm system coming in for Wednesday, but it does look like tomorrow night, temperatures for most of the night are going to stay up above the freezing mark. So it's unlikely that we're going to have the issues with a refreeze coming up tomorrow night. Something we'll monitor though, but I don't expect that we're going to have the same sort of problems Tuesday night into Wednesday morning that we're going to have across the ArkLaTex overnight tonight. Again, what we have to watch for Wednesday is that next system coming on in, which may bring in perhaps a little snow to start the day on Wednesday. Temperatures likely above freezing, so I don't expect we're going to have major sort of travel issues as a result of that, with temperatures again above 32 degrees as that happens. But again, that's not set in stone. All depends on the timing, the strength, and the track of this storm system coming in on Wednesday. So that is something that we'll be trying to figure out and pinpoint a little bit better here in the next couple of days. But again, I think our biggest concern for basically ice-covered roads is going to be tonight through tomorrow morning. Could be a pretty rough commute Tuesday morning here around the area. Again, don't mind me. I'm just having a couple little bites to eat here. But again, if you do have some questions, feel free to ask those, and I'll answer them the best that I can.
Why are the messages before that? Yeah, I'm trying to eat with it. Yeah, that's fine. Well, where's that from? Right, I mean, that's gonna be well over here, because that's, also stuff in. That's right. No, no. We got tons. We got tons of something pictures. Watch that. Eating, got to be live. What the fuck? Someone just typed in a question. Well, I mean, I'm still getting it. As of now, one of these passes. But that's what it's going to be like. All right, well, let me let you go. Like, I now have 2 questions. So I'll get back to that. All right.
Okay, let's see. Why is KSLA not showing on air into Queen? This is my go-to for all news and weather. I don't know. I don't know why we are not on air into Queen. If you're getting us with an antenna, it could be weather related, because we are on air with our antenna, because I've got us pulled up on TVs here. So I'm not exactly sure why we're off the air there. If it's on a cable system, then I don't know. I don't have an answer to that question. Let's see, this is from KSLA News 12. Sabine Parish schools are going to be closed tomorrow. Another question, are flights still canceled out of Shreveport? Yes, I do believe so, that flights are canceled. Earlier, we reported that all Delta flights were canceled out of Shreveport for the rest of the day. Now, tomorrow, they're probably going to play it by ear. But as of this time, I do believe most flights out of Shreveport have been canceled. I know a lot of flights in Dallas were canceled as well, due to the fact that they had the sleet and freezing rain there earlier this morning. So we've got Subway to eat here. My news manager was very nice to bring in for everyone. What's everyone at home eating tonight on this wintry night here in the ArkLaTex? Well, thank you. Says this is from comment from me. Didn't put in a name, but thank you for reporting on this winter storm. Very nice job to one and all. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that our hard work is noticed. And what we want to do is get the information out there. And I'm glad that we were able to give most everyone a heads up here, about 3 or 4 days in advance. We started talking about today's weather situation Thursday of last week, and about how today could end up being a pretty icy day. And hopefully we're not going to have major problems out there, but again, I am concerned about the potential for very icy roads developing overnight tonight. If you watched our 6 o'clock news, we had actually our newest reporter on. He was at Benton Road. If you're familiar with the Benton Road area, where it has the overpass that goes over the railroad tracks, so you can avoid those. And of course, that road was closed as soon as the precipitation started coming on in. But at his location there, one of the things he noticed between 5 and 6 o'clock was where he was standing, it was slushy. And that's kind of what we had on my drive into work this afternoon. It was slushy. There was sleet and slush on the roads, but still you could drive through it. Maybe fishtailed a little bit, but wasn't too treacherous. But one of the things he noticed between 5 and 6 was that slush had really started to freeze up and get solid. And that is my concern overnight tonight, is that's going to happen on a lot of roads where there's slush and where there's standing water, is that just is going to glaze over into very slippery, icy conditions, and that's going to make travel extremely difficult as the night wears on. And again, already starting to see that happening. So I do encourage you, if you don't have to be out on the roads, don't go out. If you do have to be out on the roads, and I know some of you do for work, just give yourself lots of time to get there, because you're going to have to take it slow and easy on the roadways. But again, if you don't have to get out in it, best advice, just wait until later tomorrow, when we are going to start to warm things up, at least above freezing. Not a whole lot above freezing, but at least above freezing, and should begin to see things thaw out on the roadways. And again, through Wednesday, I don't expect that we're really going to have any major problems with another refreeze Tuesday night. If we have any issues Wednesday, it's going to be with another storm system swinging on through and perhaps giving us a little bit more frozen precipitation, although it doesn't look like it's going to be anything major. But again, we're watching that. Again, feel free to type in your questions if you have them. Looking at the radar here, still seeing mainly some sleet near and east of Shreveport. We've got a little bit more between I-20 and I-30 across northeast Texas. But really starting to see the bulk of the precip starting to die out here around the ArkLaTex. So improving weather, at least as far as that goes. Again, our main concern over the site tonight is not going to be additional sleet and or snow. It's going to be what has fallen freezing on the roads, and that's going to cause some problems out there. But we're going to keep the blog going here at least for a little while longer. Probably up until maybe around 8 o'clock this evening. Because I really expect the conditions to continue to improve. Again, as far as precipitation, again, the roads will continue to get worse overnight tonight as they begin to ice up. If you have some questions, be sure to ask. In the meantime, here you're going to hear me talking. I'm going to record a video update to go on KSLA.com, kind of with the latest of what's happening and what we're expecting to see happen as we head through the rest of the week. So you're going to hear me do that in the background, and then I'll be back over here in just a second. Well, good Monday evening, everyone. KSLA Stormtracker 12 Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle, dealing with winter weather continuing around the ArkLaTex, although it is starting to taper off. We've had a lot of sleet today. In general, a ½ an inch of sleet or less. But there's a lot of slush on the roadways, and there's a lot of water on the roads. And overnight tonight, that is going to lead to some problems as all that starts to freeze over, making for very hazardous travel overnight and on into tomorrow morning. I do expect a thaw, though, coming up on Tuesday. Temperatures tomorrow will get back above the freezing mark by the noon hour, so that's going to help to melt away some of this and hopefully dry out some of the roadways also. Another storm system coming in on Wednesday, and there's the possibility we may see a little bit more wintry precip with that. However, I don't expect it to be as significant
and mainly could be a little bit of a mixture of some rain and some snow. Not likely to see any significant accumulation out there, certainly not on the roadways, as most things will tend to melt as temperatures will be above freezing as we take you through the day on Wednesday. But something we'll watch. We'll keep you updated on that here in the next couple of days. All right, here's what we expect over the next 12 hours. And through 10 o'clock tonight, still going to have a little bit of a wintry mix out there, mainly sleet, perhaps a little snow mixed. 29 will be your temperature around 10. By 1 in the morning, back to dry weather, temperature in the upper 20s. And that's pretty well where we're going to stay. Really won't see the temperatures drop any overnight. At the same time, we won't see them go up, and that means we will hold in the upper 20s through early tomorrow morning. Possibility out early in the morning on Tuesday as well. Could be a little bit of light freezing drizzle in a few spots. We'll keep an eye on that for you. And again, that will just add to those icy roadways, which we do expect to wake up to for the morning drive. All right, let's talk about that storm system for Wednesday. Going to go ahead and march ahead with Future Track here to Tuesday night. This will be developing to our west as we take it through Tuesday night and then arriving into the ArkLaTex early on Wednesday morning. And you can see in the pink color, that's that mixed precipitation. In this case, instead of ice, we likely are talking about a mixture of rain and some snow. It could be all snow at times for some areas by 8 o'clock on Wednesday morning. We march into Wednesday afternoon and notice we're starting to change over to mainly rainfall in the green color. That's because temperatures will warm up through the day Wednesday, making their way into the 40s, looks like, as we head into Wednesday afternoon. So that is really going to kind of limit any sort of significant impacts from this system coming in on Wednesday. But with that said, don't be surprised if you do encounter some snowflakes out of that one coming on through. All right, here's your 7-day forecast. Again, tomorrow morning, maybe a little drizzle. 38 degrees will be your high tomorrow afternoon. Wednesday, again, looking for that another mixed bag of weather with some rain, perhaps some snow. Temperatures will be in the low 40s. Thursday and Friday, we're warming things up into the mid 40s. Still chilly, but at least we're quiet. Over the weekend, it gets a little bit warmer. 50s on Saturday, 60s by Sunday. We do expect to see some showers and thunderstorms, so coming back with that warm up over the course of the weekend. Of course, you can always get that forecast update 24/7 on our website, KSLA.com, as well as on our mobile weather app. Hope to see you tonight for KSLA News 12 at 10 o'clock. We'll have an update on the refreeze coming up tonight and that storm system coming in on Wednesday in your forecast then. Until then, hope you have a good evening. We'll see you a little bit later on tonight.
Okay, that's updated, sort of, at least it's recorded. I'll have to put it on the website here in just a second. Again, we're here to answer your questions, so if you have any questions here about this winter storm, which is winding down here in the ArkLaTex, still have winter storm warnings for basically I-20 to I-30, that corridor of the ArkLaTex, and then just outside of that, we have winter weather advisories, and those are due to expire at midnight, and I don't expect they will be extended. As I'm looking at the radar here, I'm really starting to see the precipitation winding down, lightening up, and actually starting to break up as well. And our main concern going forward from here on into tomorrow morning is going to be icy roadways. The moisture on the roads, the water, and also the slush, that is going to freeze over and perhaps make for some very hazardous travel on many roads here around the ArkLaTex overnight tonight through tomorrow morning. Again, this is your opportunity to ask some questions if you have some, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. Going to get mic'd up here as well. I'll have a live update that we're going to do right at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock. Hopefully won't make too many people mad by breaking into their show, but I figure most people want to know what the latest is going on with the weather. But fortunately, it is starting to get better out there. Again, as far as the sleet is ending, roads will remain treacherous through tomorrow morning. Stormtracker 12, this is Jeff. I don't expect to repeat it today. Looks like a rain-snow mix coming on through with roads staying mainly wet, not necessarily icy. I can't say at this point, ma'am. That's always up to the schools as to what they decide to do. Tomorrow we're expecting a high around 38, so we'll start to thaw out the roads a little bit by tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. It'll be pretty icy tonight the way it looks, but should start to get better through the day tomorrow. Yeah, still may have a little bit, but it's pretty well winding down as we speak. Not that I've seen. Mm-mm. You're welcome. Do what? Are you talking to me? Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'll be doing this.
What? Monsters on Saturday?
Oh, yeah. Here?
No, on Saturday. might not have enough, but
Yeah, it's just not. Well, good evening, I'm KSLA Stormtracker 12G meteorologist Jeff Cass. We'll get you back to your program here in just a second. Do want to update you on what we have going on, and there's still winter storm warning in effect here between I-20 and I-30 until midnight tonight. Outside of that, winter weather advisories do continue. However, really starting to see this wind down. I do want to emphasize, though, roads are going to remain very slick and hazardous overnight tonight and through the commute tomorrow morning, but we are not going to be adding additional precip out there. So we check things out on our live Doppler network. The pink color, that's your sleet, and we are continuing to see that wind down. Just very scattered here to the northwest of Shreveport. Still a little steady along I-20 to the east, but again, it is working its way out of the ArkLaTex. We do have our live weather blog on KSLA.com for a little while longer, and of course I'll have an updated forecast coming up on KSLA News 12 at 10 o'clock tonight.
All right, let's see. Stephanie wants to know if we're still going to have freezing temperatures at 10:30 in the morning for Elysian Fields, Texas. Very likely, yes. It's probably going to be 11, 12 o'clock tomorrow, 11 in the morning, noontime tomorrow, before we do start to see temperatures back above the freezing mark. Now, with that said, though, that's when the best thawing conditions are going to come back in when we get above 32 degrees. One of the other things, though, that's going to help the ice start to melt on the roads is once the sun is up tomorrow. Now, the sun may not be out and shining brightly, but the energy from the sun, the radiation from the sun is still passing through the clouds, making it down to the ground and starting to work on that ice by heating up the road surface a little bit. So even though we may still be at 32 degrees or so around 10:30 in the morning, we will start to see some improvement and some melting happening on the roads prior to that. But again, it's probably going to be 11, 12 o'clock before we're actually above 32, and then we will stay that way likely through the rest of the afternoon. And in most places, maybe even on into Wednesday morning. We may not get back below freezing Tuesday night into early Wednesday. Hey, Chef. Hey. Yeah, I'm working on that. I just did a video update, and that'll be the next thing on my list. So I'll freshen it up. Yeah. Yeah, I'll just edit what's already there. All right, sure. Bye. Okay, Chris wanting to know, do we have any estimates of how much sleet fell in the Shreveport-Bossier area today? Most of what I've seen from around Shreveport and Bossier City, anywhere from about 1/3 of an inch to about 1/2 inch of sleet. One of the good things about sleet, it's very dense, but it also compacts, so it doesn't pile up unless it's a real significant storm. It's not going to pile up the same that snow would. But again, it looks like less than 1/2 inch of sleet accumulation, and that can vary a little bit. You know, earlier we had, if you were watching the live chat earlier, we actually had some thunder and lightning with some of the sleet east of Shreveport, and as that moved through, yeah, then that did pile up a little bit, probably quickly about 1/2 inch of sleet. But again, in general, from what I've seen, generally under 1/2 inch, which is still, you know, that's about 1/2 inch of sleet. And that's going to cause some problems because a lot of that is still on the roads and starting to freeze up. In fact, I am wanting to check on something here. Part of the chat, we also we have our KSLA News 12 Twitter linked in here. But some of the things that are showing up are old. But I did see a picture that was posted here perhaps recently because it looks dark out. If I can find that, then we will talk about it if it's what I think it is. Okay, yes. So this was recent. Picture was posted, and I don't know if y'all can see the pictures as I share them, but I will post this one. And this is apparently traffic is at a standstill at I-20 East and the Red River Bridge. So something has happened, probably weather related, with ice, and that is now slowing down traffic headed eastbound on I-20 right at the Red River Bridge. Comment from Chris verifying that yes, he heard thunder with the sleet in the Broadmoor area, and yes, it was awesome. Clay and I saw it on radar. We saw the lightning strikes, and there were actually quite a few out of one of the little cells that track through south of Houghton and Doyling, and we were quite impressed with what we were seeing. So I can only imagine what it would be like if you actually heard it. On my Facebook page last week, I shared from the Weather Channel, Jim Cantori, if you're familiar with him. He was reporting, I believe, from somewhere in New England, may have been around the Boston area again recently. And he experienced thunder snow, which is basically a snowstorm, but like we had today with the sleet, there was some thunder and lightning associated with it. Not something that you typically get with winter storms. That's because you get thunder and lightning when the atmosphere is very unstable and you have warm air at the surface, cold air aloft, and that helps to create the instability, which can generate what you need to have thunder and lightning occur. So to get that in a winter storm, which is, you know, a cold storm situation, it doesn't happen very often. So it was exciting stuff for him. You may have seen the video for how he reacted. Not just a few strikes of lightning, but he actually experienced, I think, about 5 or 6 while he was reporting that morning. So again, to have that when we've got this winter weather moving on through with sleet, it's unusual, very unusual. So if you were fortunate to hear it like Chris did, you're a lucky person. I've gotten to hear thunder snow twice in my lifetime. Once when I was working in the Texas Panhandle in Amarillo, I experienced it on my way to work during a snowstorm. And then just a few years back when I was working in Huntsville, Alabama, we had some thunder snow with a big snow event there. Hey, it's Jeff. Hey. No, we can pull it down intermittently since things are kind of winding down. Are people concerned about their shows and all that? Yeah, yeah, I think that'd be fine at this point since it is starting to quiet down. Okay, sure. Bye. And I'm going to untangle the phone cord because every time I go to answer it, it's difficult. Yes, we still have corded phones in the office here. All right, so yes, we got problems on I-20. I-20 eastbound is closed at Spring Street due to an accident. Traffic is being diverted at Spring Street to US 80. Congestion has reached 1 mile. So that's not good. And I see in the picture that I posted, hopefully you can see it too, a lot of, excuse me, as I bite my tongue, a lot of semi trucks on the roadways as they're trying to get to their destinations. But obviously making it, you know, probably not the best thing to do to be on the roads right now. But I realize, that, you know, truckers, you know, they have to be on the road in all kinds of weather situations. I got deadlines to meet and all that, and I know it's not always easy for them to make the decision to stop and just wait things out. Posted a picture from earlier of some of the sleet. Actually trying to clear out some things here. Again, if you have some weather questions, please feel free to ask. We just have a handful of viewers here. Probably only going to leave the live blog up until around 9, because again, things are really starting to wind down. But at least until then, if you have some questions you want to ask, feel free to do that. And then after 9 o'clock, I'll be working on getting things ready for the 10 o'clock news. But again, really looks like the weather situation is going to be pretty uneventful through the rest of this evening and tonight. Concern is going to be the aftermath of this winter storm, which is going to be the refreeze, the icing of the roadways, which does appear to be well underway across the area. Sorry about that. I was updating our main weather story on the web page. All right, comment from SJ wanting to know about any bridge closures. For instance, Shreveport Barksdale Bridge. Have not heard of any. However, as I mentioned above, there is an accident on I-20 eastbound near the Red River Bridge. Traffic is being diverted off of I-20 at Spring Street in Shreveport. So it's possible that there may be an accident on the bridge. Don't know that for sure. Don't have the details. But it is close to where you get to the Red River Bridge. So traffic is being diverted off of I-20 eastbound at Spring Street. That's the only major tie-up that I'm hearing about. That doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't close the road down, but that is something that we are monitoring. But again, I've not heard of any other of the bridge closures over the Red River at this point. That's not to say that that won't change with time. Again, we're still kind of early into the refreeze, and I still expect it's going to get worse before it gets better. And we'll stay with the icy roads, it looks like, right on into early tomorrow morning. All right, I'm going to run out real quick. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Again, if you have some questions, type them, and I'll get to them here when I get back in a second. We've got one of the DODT traffic cams pulled up on I-20. Whatever exit 19A is. And it looks like traffic is starting to move again on I-20. So whatever tied it up there, looks like things are improving. At least traffic is starting to flow again.
Blanchard Iron Laser Center offers a customized all-laser LASIK procedure with prices starting at $1,250 per hour. Call now to schedule a free LASIK consultation and learn about your opportunity for extraordinary vision.
Well, good Monday evening, everyone on KSLA Stormtracker 12.
Okay. Just checking to make sure my updates went through on the website. Again, if you have some questions for me, please feel free to ask away. We've got probably not much longer that I'm going to keep this keep the blog up, since things are really winding down. It's more of an after effect impact that we're dealing with now, which is going to be the icy roads tonight, rather than additional precip coming on in, as most of it has kind of tapered off. Maybe a little freezing drizzle out there overnight tonight. Keeping an eye on that, depending on how much dry air works in behind this wave of precipitation. But really, our biggest concern is going to be the refreeze, the slush and the water that's on the roadways from the sleet and the little bit of snow mixed in today. That's really just going to ice up, and it's going to be solid ice as we take you through the rest of tonight on into tomorrow morning. So rough going tonight, likely a rough commute Tuesday morning. If you can delay your trip into work tomorrow, probably a good idea. I know a lot of schools are already canceling or delaying classes due to the fact that we do continue to expect to see bad road conditions through tomorrow morning. So again, if you have any sort of flexibility there with your boss and your job to not come in until later in the day, that's going to be your best bet. If you do have to venture out early tomorrow morning, late tonight, just take it slow and easy. Give yourself lots of time. Don't be in any rush, and be prepared to perhaps slip around just a little bit with ice on the roadways. Shane from Texarkana, let me pop your question up here. Wants to know if we're pretty well done with the messy weather, and yeah, pretty much are out of this particular storm system. Again, still may have a little bit of maybe freezing drizzle overnight tonight, but most of the precip is pretty well wound down. Not much left on radar that I'm looking at here right now. So I do expect the worst is over as far as what we're going to get out of this particular storm, and now we can start focusing in on what we're going to be dealing with on Wednesday. Right now, I'm not real concerned about what's coming in for Wednesday, but it is something that we'll monitor because we could see a little bit more maybe in the way of snow with that system as opposed to the ice that we had with the one which came through today. And thank you, Shane. Glad you've been checking in with us throughout the day. We're here just to keep you guys updated on what's going on. I like the blog. It's much less formal than what we do on television. Of course, on television, you know, it's very structured in what we do. So the blog allows us to just kind of, I don't want to necessarily say let our hair down, but let's just be a little more casual and conversational with you than we can be on television. Shane's saying now ready for severe weather season. Yeah, that's coming. You know, next week is Severe Weather Awareness Week here in Louisiana. In fact, this year, all the states have coordinated. So, you know, some years, depending on, you know, we cover 4 states. We cover Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. And some years, the Severe Weather Awareness Weeks are different for some of those states. But this year, all of them, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas, Severe Weather Awareness Week is all the same week, and it is next week. We are planning some severe weather safety packages that we'll be running in our newscast next week. Clay will probably be working on most of those. Nicole might help as well. So yeah, gearing up for severe weather season. You know, we'll have to see how it turns out because, you know, last year we had the really cold winter in the east, and it ended up being a very, very quiet severe weather season. And I will have to say, if the weather pattern that we have right now, which it looks like it may continue maybe into mid-March, where we're going to get these periodic pushes of colder air, you know, that sort of pattern, to see that heading into spring is not going to be real favorable for severe weather. Fine with me if we have another quiet season, but something that we are watching for. And of course, regardless, we're going to be geared up and prepared to track spring storms in the event that we do have to deal with those. Yeah, Shane mentioned last year it was extremely mild. I mean, not just here, just across really, really all across the South and the Plains. It was a very, very quiet year. It was actually a little more active to the east across Alabama, which is where I came from Huntsville. But even there, it was a quieter year than what they've had in recent years. Yeah, and like I said, Shane, you know, if the weather pattern that we're in right now continues, kind of like it did last year, that could be another slow season, which again is fine with me. Well, if nobody has any other questions, I think I'm going to go ahead and we're going to shut down the live blog. I appreciate those of you who've been tuning in and asking questions, and hopefully I've been providing some good information. Shane from Camp Hill. You know, I don't think I know where Camp Hill is. I don't think I've heard of that. I worked up in northern Alabama, in and around Huntsville. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and shut things down. Start looking at the evening computer models, which at least the one which has been painting the snowier scenario for Wednesday. That's usually the first one to come in. That data should be rolling in right now. So I'm going to get off of here, take a look at that, start working on any forecast adjustments I need to make for the 10 o'clock news. But I appreciate those of you that have participated in the blog today. I know we only have 3 people watching right now, being indicated on the Google Hangout. But I appreciate you all checking in with us. Glad that the winter storm wasn't any worse than it has been, but like I said, likely the worst is still to come tonight with the road conditions and the fact that we're really going to start to ice things over. The last check of the radar here that I'm looking at, still some sleet around. Most of it is pretty light. Still seeing a few sleet showers trying to develop here and there, but really over the last couple of hours, it's been a pretty marked decrease in the amount of winter precipitation that we have here around the ArkLaTex. So again, if you want updates, you can always get those 24/7 on our website, KSLA.com. Hope those of you that have smartphones also have downloaded our free weather app. A great tool to have when you're away from your computer or TV. Another comment here, thanks again. Be careful tonight if you have to drive home. I shall, and I'm going to try to make it home tonight. I live over in Bossier City, so I have to get across the river, hoping that the bridges are open as I'm heading home around 11 o'clock tonight, and that things are passable. I'm going to take my own advice, take it slow and easy, and even if it takes me twice as long to get home as normal, that's all that matters as long as I get there safely. So again, thanks again, guys. I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. We'll see you next time we have a big weather event come through the ArkLaTex. Hopefully it'll be a while before that happens. And of course, I'll see you back on KSLA News 12 at 10 o'clock tonight. Hope you all have a good evening.